All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have each and every one of you here with us today. Today is March 29th, 2022. This is episode 149. And today we're going to be taking a look at two traits. So today we're going to be taking a look at opinions and we're going to take a look at control. So we're just wrapping up trait 17 of opinions in quality 6. So we'll take a look at that today. We will also take a look at tomorrow we move into the 21. So we move into the 21 of control. So we're also going to be taking a look at control today as well. This will wrap up March. And then on the other side, we have, as we enter into April, we have the 51 of shock. So that'll be fun. That's what we'll talk about next week. All right, before we jump in and get started, let's say hello to our panel. Let's start with Anna. Hello, Anna, welcome.
Hi, hello everybody. Glad to be here. It's spring. It's spring. Unpredictable, but still. Wonderful.
Beautiful. Great to have you here, Anna. Welcome, welcome. And let's go to Shelley. Hello, Shelley, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Beautiful to be here today. It's nice to feel things winding up and spring starting things anew.
Yes, exactly. Well, welcome, Shelley. Great to have you here. And Linda.
Yes, hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy to be here. And I love to see Moxie as well and to hear the opinions and they're kind of controlling the BG5 Live today again. So yeah, wonderful to see.
Great to have you here, Linda. Welcome, welcome. And of course, there's Moxie. Moxie says hello to everyone. All right, well, let's jump in and get started. Let's see, as we have moved through the month of March, we are wrapping up March. March is the emotional doubt and openness that leads to crisis, returning us to our innocence to gain new opinions of control. So we are now taking a look at gaining those new opinions of control. We took a look at friendship and family at the beginning of the month, as well as doubt. We also took a look at openness, crisis. We also took a look at innocence last week. Again, today we're going to take a look at opinions. We're going to take a look at visually fixed on patterns, protecting it into the future. So protecting all of us moving forward into the future with our opinions. And we are also going to take a look at control. Control is the justified and necessary use of power in overcoming interference. So again, we're still experiencing a lot of craziness going on in the world. Oops, my 17 got, my little arrow didn't go quite correct. 17 is up here, by the way. I don't know why it's pointing down there. I think it's still pointing at the 25. So I forgot to fix that. The 17 is up here in conceptualization. All right, so again, to wrap up March, again, we're going to take a look at opinions and control. I also wanted to give you an update just with, of course, the craziness going on in the world. Again, crisis, we're in crisis for the next 3 years and what's hidden. With revolution and principles, we have that in judge and discipline also for the rest of this year as well. Just to give you a heads up on what's coming up, we have on March 31st, we have crisis in the driving force. Also in principles or revolution, we have it in our values and our returning energy. So that is coming up. Also April 6th, so we'll talk about this next week, we also move into crisis regarding our personal law. So it's kind of interesting if you take a look at how this comes together, is that the crisis in our personal law, if we are not acting according to our own personal law, we end up, in a sense, being punished. And that's the judge and discipline. And the judge and discipline is in principles and revolution. And so again, it's going to become more and more important to really align yourself with who you're truly designed to be in order to move through the crisis, to move through all of the craziness, to get to the other side, to return us to our innocence. So I just wanted to give you a heads up as the world continues to be a bit crazy. So let's take a look at And I don't know if Linda or Anna or Shelley, if there's anything you want to add here before we jump into opinion. And if not, that's fine too. All right, let's jump into opinion. So today's theme, trait 17, it's opinions. It's also following, and it's grounded in detail, right? So remember, the 62 is detail, which is on the other side of the 17, connected to communication and action. We can also see what grounds the 17 is also correction. So our opinions are grounded by taking a look at what we need to correct moving forward into the future. So this is organizing the formula for expression. So it's organizing the details. It's organizing all the different pieces and parts in order to ultimately have an expression. And it's visual. This is collective. So it's connected to the visual, and it's being visually fixed on patterns and protecting it into the future. All right. So this is being able to see and recognize patterns that work, also to see and recognize the patterns that don't work in order to successfully move us forward into the future. This is also the ancient law that those who wish to rule must know how to serve, right? We have a lot coming up in leadership around the world, part of the crisis that's currently going on around the world as well when it comes to leadership. So taking a look at those, again, who wish to rule must also know how to serve. And if they're not serving, that can also be an issue or a problem. This is also, because remember also, this is the logical circuitry. It's also connected to leadership, right? Being able to lead us successfully into the future based on the patterns. So this is also ready to share logical opinions and a vision of a bigger picture, right? Taking a look at the bigger picture, moving forward into the future. And by looking at one concept or opinion among many that we can trust, we want to take a look for that opinion or that concept that will survive both testing as well as criticism. And when we can find those opinions that pass and survive both testing and criticism, that can help us calm our fears about the future. And this is also the ability to structure an answer into a concept and into a system or into a workable pattern or into a possible solution, right? So this is where all of those pieces eventually come together in a logical way, putting everything together so that it can ultimately be expressed. And if your opinion cannot stand logic scrutiny, it will be rejected. So this is the fear of challenge, right? People don't like their opinions being challenged. And remember, this is conceptualization. This is wanting to be certain. And so you want to be certain of your opinion, and your fear is that your opinion will be challenged. All right, so that is opinions. I'd love to hear from Linda, Anna, or Shelley, or of course, anyone who is here live in our Zoom room. If you have trait 17 of opinions, we would love to hear from you as well. So I forgot to actually check before we got started. Do any of you have the 17?
I don't, but a lot of my family members do. And we do have a couple of people. Alina is with us on Facebook, and she has it as her conscious core essence. I'm just waiting for her to type in what she would like to share.
Happy birthday.
And somebody in our, Debbie's got the 62. So on the other side, Vicky's got the 17. Or did you want to share, Vicky?
Well, let's start with Linda, and then Vicky, if you want to share, then we can do that as well. All right, Linda. You have this, right?
Yes, I have this. In an undefined conceptualization function, so I don't have access always, but it is, I feel like my unconscious, yeah, it's my, let me see, yeah, it's my grounding in my design. Yeah, so yeah, yeah, I recognize a lot because I feel like it really interacts with the 31/7. That's leadership, also really logical. I'm really pointed towards the future, and what I naturally do is that I calm fears for the future with my clients. I'm really used to get people because of my public role, the 5-1. I'm a problem solver. People that are having problems, I soothe them with my opinions and with everything that I've studied and with my kind of logical way and really clear way of taking a look at what's going on. I observe, and then I just, yeah, automatically see what's going on. And my whole design is, yeah, is cooperating with that. And then I just give my opinion of what is going on in a really clear way, and also kind of with a leadership kind of, okay, you can follow me, you can trust me. This is how I perceive things. And I also really recognize the fear side, because I have a friend and he is really logic in, he is, well, really, he is just a genius, so to say. And at first, when he was challenging my opinions, I was like, and I don't like it, and I was thinking of details, but I don't have the 62. So I was lost because I don't know his design, but I felt like he was constantly challenging everything with his knowledge, and he is way, way more intelligent than I am. So I always lost. But now I am more kind of grounded in myself, and I feel like, okay, well, this is my opinion. And period. And then there is no challenging, kind of, because I really feel, and I'm not saying that's the truth, it's my opinion. So, and also what I really love is it's a vision of the bigger picture. I feel like I am able to take a look at the nuances that are coming at play. So not only from only my opinion, but also taking in the opinions of other people around me. Because also my conceptualization function is open. So I'm open literally to all kinds of ways to take in information, but also the ways you can process information. So I'm really kind of, I feel like an antenna that is open for everything, and then I form my own opinion based on lots of information that I have seen, and then I will have my opinion, and people will follow me, kind of, or they are trusting me, and I will help them literally being calm about their problems and say, oh yeah, now I feel. That's the first thing almost every one of my clients say, oh, I feel so much better. The pressure is gone. And that's, I feel like it's also has to do with this trait. So yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And I love how you talked about, it's not just, it's taking in all of these different opinions. Again, it's looking for that one concept or opinion among many that you can trust, right? Yeah. So taking it all in and then finding, in a sense, what is your truth, what is your logic, what is your opinion. Yeah.
That's also what I share all the time. You don't have to believe me. This is what I feel. This is what I sense. I have seen lots of things. I'm following the news, or I'm following this or that. And this is the way I feel and what I feel with you. And this is what I want to share with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Linda.
Yeah.
And Vicky's saying 100%, Linda. And I think, Vicky, so you have the 17 as well. Would you like to share your experience of having the 17? Beautiful. I think I have unmuted you.
I think I got it. I hope my technology is working this morning.
Yes, great to have you here. And Vicky is an evaluator as well. So
Yeah, and it's my birthday here in Australia. So we're
yes,
ready to
happy
go
birthday.
into 21.
Thanks for celebrating with us.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know that I can add much to what Linda said, except agree with all the points she made. It's mine's in an open center as an evaluator as well. So it is just taking those things in, but I wonder if Linda would agree. It's seeing the pattern in your head, and it is very visual. So I think that can't be understated in not even a seeing it physically existing, but it's the seeing it in your imagination and pulling the pieces together and seeing how they fit together or drop into place. So
yeah. So really recognizing those patterns. That's what one of the things that this trait is really good at, which is a part of the logical stream, is recognizing the patterns, recognizing things that repeat, or things that are different, or things that are out of place, or things that are in place based on all of the information.
Yeah, and it's sifting through the information to find that.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Vicky. It's great to have you here. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I totally echo, Vicky, and happy birthday from me as well. What you shared, you can kind of see it. I can kind of see the dots connecting. I just see a piece of information and then I say, oh, but I literally am able to say, okay, I heard you say this, and then I heard you say that, and that does not make sense because I feel like you want to say this. So, and then they say, yes, that's exactly what's going on. And also, what also stands out for me is, it says here, the ancient law that those who wish to rule must know how to serve. I feel like by listening to different opinions, you kind of serve. It's not about your opinion, it's about sharing it with the collective. So you have to kind of be really careful with what you are sharing, what you are coming up with, because it is also for the kind of the benefit of the collective. I don't know, it's really also with the leadership, it's serving. It really is serving. It is, yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's not for me, it is for the collective.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Really beautifully said, Linda. Thank you so much.
And that actually plays right into something that Alina has shared on Facebook. Can I read it for you?
Yes, please.
Yes. She was just making a note too that, yes, this is from the Cross of Service. This is in her, I think this is her conscious core essence. So she knows this one. And she says, I struggled a lot with this aspect before entering in my experiment with my decision-making strategy. And also because I have an undefined identity and direction center, I noticed that I had intense emotional reactions when someone was challenging my opinions, because my opinions were connecting somehow with my self-concept. And I felt like it was a direct attack to my core concept of self. She's also got the 1858, and her opinions were connected with the corrections she felt she needed to make because she wasn't operating correctly. Her corrections made with her opinions were taken as criticism, or that she was complaining. She also has an in quality 1, so a lot of insecurities concerning her own opinions, which made her investigate this subject a really long time. Lots to say about this amazing trait. And I have to say, Alina, that's really similar. My daughter has this in her conscious core essence as well in trait 1. and she has the 1858, and it's a lot of her life work as well. And I've watched her struggle with this similarity or similar things. She's an advisor. And so trying to figure out why she was constantly seeing all the things that she could tell needed to be fixed, and coming up with ways to fix them was overwhelming at first, until she understood her design and how to make decisions for herself, and to understand how she fits in the bigger picture in the large organization or in the world. So it can take a while to sort through this and really get clear on how all these things work independently as we zoom in on them here, but on also how they step back and work together as a whole in a person's life. So thanks so much for sharing that, Alina.
Yes, thanks, Alina, and thank you, Shelley, as well.
I wanted to add, I have the 62, and the 17 is a bridging trait as a collaborative assimilation. So early on as a kid, I was very afraid of being challenged with my opinions. I kept my opinions to myself because I had a very opinionated family, and they loved to argue and share their opinions and kind of debate things. And I would, as a kid, I would like run, hide. I didn't want to get involved in that. But as I got older and started to develop more, even before I understood BG5, I could feel when I was bridged or not, either directly or indirectly. And it would literally help me organize my thoughts and my presentation, and help me organize the details of things, because I would be formulating things, but did not exactly know how to keynote, let's say, how to put all those pieces in one sentence, let's say. And in this organizing the formula for expression, organizing, I draw the connection between 17 and 21, which we're going to talk about, because organizing means there's more than one, there's multiple. And to formulate an opinion, if you have one opinion, then you're in control, let's say, or if you use that one opinion to dominate or express over and over, it becomes the dominant opinion, but it's not necessarily the right opinion or the best opinion or an inclusive opinion. And that's where it leads into the 21, where, and we can speak more about this, but the 21 needs permission to have a dominant opinion, let's say, or a dominant sense of order, management, and control. So if you have correct control, you have permission. And in the way I understand it from an open 17, there's this, everybody has opinions, there's multiple opinions, but to select the one that makes sense for a given person or a given group, you have to include information, you have to include parts, you have to gather a variety, and that demands organization, that demands some kind of formalization. So I've just observed how the formalization for and 62, which I have both, kind of, like I said, I can feel it when the 17 is present or when I'm bridged another way, because it's easier to organize whatever the formula and the details are.
Yes, beautiful, Anna. And that plays perfectly into how you get affected when you're connected. So if you the shadow of trait 17, or if you don't have trait 17. So this speaks to a lot of what you just said, Anna. So if you take a look at the shadow of trait 17, so this is, you have the 62, just like Anna was talking about. The 62 is details, but you don't have the 17. You lack the ability to structure a concept for expression. You have all of the details, but how do you put it all together in order to express it? So you may find that people aren't interested in the facts and details that you share, because you have a lot of facts and details, but you don't necessarily have a way to put it all together. And do you feel like you have a hard time expressing the detail that you know in a way that people really understand? And so the problem is that you may have a tendency
We lost your volume.
He's at work. Hold on.
There we go.
Hold on one second. I need to.
Did Moxie walk on your keyboard again?
Yes.
Oh,
She turned off my screen.
oh no. You're going straight from memory now.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Moxie had her own opinion about things. Hold on. Okay, Moxie, stop. Bad kitty. All right,
Moxie's
let me
in the
find
house.
my presentation again. Hold on.
Oh, it's lovely to see your face and your laugh.
Okay, I think let me share again. Oh my goodness.
It's all good. It's live.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Okay, where did my hold on. We'll get there. Okay, here we go. I think we're back. All right, do you see my screen now? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
You're good.
So we were talking about the shadow of the 17. And so again, we're taking a look at the questions maybe that you find I think we went through this piece, basically you find that people aren't interested in the facts and details that you share, and you may have a tendency to compulsively blurt out facts and details that are unwanted or unnecessary or potentially obscure people's understanding. And that can lead to personal embarrassment. This is probably part of the reason why you didn't want to speak up, why you didn't want to say anything, Anna, because of this. So it's helpful to remember that you have the details in hand, but you may not know the proper way to express these details. And especially because this is one of your bridging traits, there's going to be a lot of pressure there. So the solution is you're designed to work with someone who has trait 17. So with this, that has the trait of opinions to help you put the details into their proper structural context for expression in the moment, right? So again, being around someone who has trait 17 also helps you in expressing the details. Do you find that to be true, Anna?
Yes, yes. And it's interesting to feel the difference between being bridged at the 17 versus I have a project partner who has the 4323. And we have a different dynamic. It's still a bridge, but it's a different ordering process. And the 17 definitely helps me organize my thinking, my logic, because all the intuition and the senses and all that other stuff is working. It's just the structure part that I actually feel or don't feel.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, Anna. And I think Debbie, I think you have the 62 as well without the 17. I would love to hear your experience in having the 62, but not the 17, the shadow of the 17.
So I actually just blurt out information and people are trying to figure out where is this coming from, but it's so fascinating to me that I share it. But what's so beautiful is Linda and I assisted Linda with class in foundations. And she has the 17 and I have the 62. And we just work so beautifully together. That's not the only strength that we completed or bridged for each other, but it was just so beautiful of how it all came together.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you, Debbie. All right, so that is the shadow of trait 17. So we're going to also take a look at the quality. We're going to take a look at quality 6. I didn't have a chance to actually put together a celebrity for today, so I was having a hard time finding a celebrity. So I did put the life work here because I think the life work also is interesting as well. The life work theme is upheaval. So you're a great button pusher, always sticking your finger into the pie to disturb the status quo in preparation for the correction needed to redirect humanity or individuals in a healthy direction. And so, Vicky, this is your life work theme since your birthday is today. And in quality 6, it's the Bodhisattva. It's the leader. It's the perfected following is one and the same as perfected leading. So you'll see that here we're seeing leadership as well within the quality 6. And again, that perfected following is one and the same as perfected leading. And the elevation is the possibility in understanding the nature of interdependency to express opinions of value to others. Now, so this is what Anna was saying. This was also what Linda was saying as well, is as a leader gathering the opinions from many different sides, from many different perspectives, from many different points of view, so that you can come to what's going to be best in leading everyone forward. The challenge here is where understanding is achieved, the possibility of having the opinion that there's nothing else to learn. It's like, okay, I got it all. There's nothing else. So it's the tendency on the perfected path that is a straight line that ends rather than a circle that then goes in deeper and deeper. So it's kind of like it comes to an end and it's like, okay, well, I know everything. Versus continuing the deepening of understanding. So continuing in a sense to be the student, continuing to learn, continuing to lead as well as follow. So I would love to hear, oh, yours is tension. Oh, okay. Oh, you tick over in about 10 hours. Okay, so yours is the 21. Got it. Yep, perfect. And I think was somebody else, I forgot, there was someone else, I think, who had
Alina does. She's written something else. I don't think she has it in the 6, though. I'm just asking her that.
Oh yeah, I think you said she had it in the 1. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it's a bit different. Yeah,
post something else here, but we
upheaval.
can
I'm
hear.
very upheaval is part of my
Oh,
my 50-year milestone. So
Ah.
so when we talk about cycles, there's sort of themes that happen based on the life work theme that's there at different milestones, 30-year milestones, 40-year milestone, 50-year milestone, 60-year milestone. So this is my 50-year milestone of upheaval. And it is in quality 6 as well. So I can also relate to this as well. Again, this perfected following is the same as perfected leading. It's like always being a student and always, taking in the opinions of others and putting them all together. And also this upheaval as well. Definitely in that 50-year milestone, dealing with upheaval, and there's a lot of upheaval right now in the world as well. So as we transition from the era of planning into the era of the individual, I feel like this is part of what my role is on the planet is to support people as we're going through this transition to ground and balance through this upheaval.
Also, just in this theme of leading and following, before the podcast, we were talking about teachings.
Mhm.
From some of you have been ending your classes, and the best teacher leader usually lets the student graduate, move on. And so there's that upheaval, that moment where it's like, oh, this disconcerting structure is changing. This is not necessarily unsettling, but it's a change, a transition time where you're letting your student go, but you're still leading the next group, and they become their own leaders.
Yes. Yeah. Great point, Anna. Yeah. We're coming to the end of this semester. I have a certification course. This is next week, or tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the last class of 3 semesters of certification. So it's difficult to wrap it up and say goodbye. And Linda just wrapped up her class today as well. So yeah, beautiful point, Anna. All right, so this is trait 17. Now we're moving out of trait 17, quality 6, and we're moving into the 21. And the 21, so next week's theme, this actually starts tomorrow, is trait 21. And I put this here as well with the different qualities, since we won't be taking a look at the qualities of trait 21. But I thought it's just to kind of take a look at sort of the progression as we're moving through. You'll notice with control, we have warning, we have might is right, we have powerlessness, we have strategy, we have objectivity, and then we have chaos. And then right after that, we move into the 51 of shock. Of initiation. So just interesting to see how that progression moves through. So let's take a look at what control is all about. This is about biting through. This is the hunter or the huntress. This is the power of the will. And the 21 has a very powerful role when we take a look at the OC16, which is a larger organization. The trait 21 is really the person who balances and controls that balance between the supply and the demand, between the promotion and being able to provide, the product or service, right? It's the hunter or the huntress, right, that provides, in a sense, ultimately provides the food for the tribe itself. So when we take a look at the 21, this is the justified and necessary use of power in overcoming deliberate and persistent interference. Right. So that's why I use this picture here. We can see the interference of these dominoes falling. The control is, in a sense, sort of, controlling what is happening and allowing either that chaos, right, which is quality 6, or, kind of a warning, being able to see that things are starting to fall and providing that warning as well. But again, we're talking about, we can see these themes of leadership, of power, of control. And again, these are issues that we're currently seeing out in the world in general as well. Power is fulfilled through demanding control of the environment. So ultimately, it really is being able to control your own environment, especially if you have this particular trait. If you have trait 21, you don't like being controlled. You don't like being told what to do, right? Or you don't like to have people looking over your shoulder and directing you. You like to be in control of your own resources. You like to be in control of your own world. And you are most successful when you can control your own material resources, meaning where you live, controlling what you wear, controlling whom you work with and where and how you work and how you make a living. Right. So this becomes very important for anyone who has trait 21. There's an element that is really healthy for you to really be in control, especially of your material resources. And this is one of the things that Anna was mentioning earlier. And also Linda was mentioning, is that you must wait until you are offered control. So you can't just take control. Right? As a leader, you're offered that position of control. And it is tribal. And what's really important with it being tribal is, one, there's a bargain behind it. And two, all around you must benefit if you're going to benefit yourself. So if you take control just for the benefit of yourself, it doesn't work correctly. When you have the 21, everyone must benefit around you if it's going to benefit you. That's part of, in a sense, the tribal bargain, or how these tribal traits operate, is that you can't use them selfishly for yourself. If you do that, again, that's the shadow aspect for any of these traits. Again, it really is for the good of the tribe. And if you attempt to assume power or control over others without being asked or invited, you'll encounter a forceful resistance. Now, this actually is an innovator's strength, and it's an innovator trait. But interesting enough, again, when leadership is involved, you need to be recognized by the tribe. You need, because there's only one tribal voice ultimately, which is the 45. And if you're not recognized by the tribe and you take control when it's not correct, you can also encounter forceful resistance. And I know, Anna, you have the 21. You also have this particular strength as well. I would love to hear from you how control shows up for you.
Yeah, this is really interesting, as I've learned, matured, because this is my personal law, and I've had to learn a lot about what kind of control. It's not so much controlling, and I have it in the 5, which is the objectivity, so it's a little bit more, there's more flexibility there. But in, I have the whole strength, the innovator strengths, the whole line, the tribal material world. And the 21 is the conscious part of the strength. And I've often found myself being offered a position of some kind of leadership or position of some kind. And because of the, how would I say, over the years, I've had the time to mature a healthy ego. Previously, I would be a little more shy, a little more introverted, in my 20s, that those kind of years, I wasn't really ready to take on that whole position. So you kind of, to me, the way I understand the 21 is that you grow into it through a healthy ego, through healthy operating. And as you grow into it, you're also offered or invited or elected or hired, whatever that term is, you're given the control to manage resources, whether they're human relationships, human resources, whatever, but you're actually, the whole strength is management, but in that control, you're not always the owner of the whole project, but you are an organizer, orchestrator, and the more you allow people to have their creativity, the better that organization functions. And I find with the ego, the defined ego, generally half the population is undefined and half the population is defined. I think that's right. Is that right?
No, there's much fewer. I can't remember the exact percentage.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, that's right.
1 in 8. Yeah, 1 in 8 have it defined.
Right. The defined is less, so that people often offer you a leadership, a control position just naturally when you're defined. what I was going to say is, though, in this, in the ego and the 21, there's the part of the shift that we're in as far as organizations, institutions, transformation in our society with money, material good, with medical institutions, learning institutions, all those, that fabric of our world, that's all changing. And the previous paradigm of over control, and going back to opinions, having a dominating opinion of what you're supposed to learn and how you're supposed to work and what health looks like and all of those things, that's all changing. This organic level of control is becoming more regenerative or ancient in its nature of balance. When, you know, the balance between opinions, the balance between rest and work, the balance between creativity and sort of these dormant moments when you're not feeling creative. That's all of, to me, the way I see this 21 is this, the change between over control to a balanced control.
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Thank you so much. Beautiful. And Vicky, so this is your life work theme, correct? The 21 of control?
Yeah, conscious core essence.
Yes. Would you like to speak to it, to how the 21 shows up for you, especially as an evaluator and having the 21 as your life work theme?
Well, you know how evaluators aren't generally noticed until they disappear? Well, I did a bit of a disappearing act and had some time away from my corporate job in a OC16. And I was back at work late last week, and they were throwing my projects back to me, going, please take over, please go and fix it, please get it all back on track, just take control and get it sorted. So it was actually a beautiful real life example that happened just last week. So,
wow.
yeah, it's not even an invite, really. It was a begging.
So not only not only were you offered control, they were begging for you to take the control back.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, great example. And especially if you do have the 21, you may find that people naturally recognize your ability to keep things balanced, to keep things controlled. And just like Anna was saying, you know, there's a lot of balance in the 21. The 21 really balances the 26 and the 40 and the OC16 to really balance, like I was mentioning before, the supply and the demand, and being able to you know, it's the foreman and the salesperson being able to make sure that you have enough sales to keep the workforce busy, and vice versa. So it is all about, you know, being able to balance that that control. Beautiful. Thank you, Vicky.
But it also goes the other way. So it's also about controlling that you don't take on, or your team doesn't take on too much, to be able to not fulfill the bargains and the briefs of the jobs as well. Yes,
exactly. Beautifully said, Vicky. Thank you so much. And Linda or Shelley, is there anything that you would like to add about trait 21 of control?
Well, I haven't, I don't know if you're doing how you are affected when you're connected, but I have the 45 and not the 21. But in terms of the large organization, I have most of the traits. I've got the 40-37 and the 26-44, which I'll support the 21 in getting the work done and balancing that, what you were talking about. So it's been really fascinating for me to learn about the OC16 and realize the 45 is either given or is takes control. But that I also get pulled into the doing of the work. I'm not just the one sitting at the top trying to be in charge, I'm also doing a lot of the work as well. So that's kind of been interesting for me to understand how that dynamic works. So I probably had the shadow of the 21 most of my younger life, wanting to take charge, wanting to be in control, wanting to, just do it all myself, or tell people what to do or whatever. And I learned, like Anna was talking about, I learned over time how to balance that with a healthy ego, realizing that it doesn't work for very long when you just tell people what to do. They kind of get annoyed with you pretty quick. So learning how to slow down and be a little bit more sensitive to what's going on for people, and then finding ways to balance the workload for everyone. I can definitely say that that's been sort of lifelong learning that I feel a lot more comfortable with now, knowing all of this information.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Shelley. All right, so we're going to wrap things up, and what I would like to hear from each of our panelists, including Vicky and Debbie, if you'd like to participate, is especially as we step into trait 21, what are some things that people should be aware of, or what should others pay attention to in this upcoming week? And again, if you are wondering, do I have trait 21? Do I have trait 17? You can download your free personalized BG5 career design chart on our website at bg5businessinstitute.com. So you can download your free chart. Also, you can subscribe to the trait of the day if you want to see how things progress throughout the week. You can subscribe to the trait of the day. You can also watch past episodes in our free resource library or on YouTube. And we have courses starting in May. So we're wrapping up this semester and we're preparing to get classes started in May. So would love to join you, would love to invite you to join us in our classes starting in May. If you're just beginning, the foundation course is the perfect place to start, and I'll be teaching the BG5 foundation course. I don't often teach the foundation course, so it's going to be a gift to be teaching the foundation course. Also, Linda's going to be teaching the BG5 Profit Potential Coaching Certification as well. So look forward to having you join us in May. All right, so let's wrap everything up. And what I'd love to hear from each of our panelists is taking a look at trait 21. What are some things for people to be aware of, people to notice? You can also, if you want to incorporate anything from trait 17 as well. But again, we're looking forward to trait 21 as we move into it, I believe later today or tomorrow. So, Vicky, would you like to get us started?
I'm not sure what to say about it, to be honest. I think the key takeaway is having the control of something does need to be given, even if you ask for it and then it is given. You inform that you're prepared to take it on and leave it. It's you put it out there and it'll either come back or not. So it can't be forced. It again has to be invited.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Vicky, and thank you for participating. It's great to have you here. Let's go to Linda. Hey, Linda.
Yeah, I feel like with trait 21, I feel like it's important to experience what you want in life, but also keep it to what you want. Because you can maybe be triggered by controlling things that you don't have control over, like your husband or your wife or other people, because that's not what this is for, what this is all about. This is a time to also speak out what you want. I want this. This is from me, and to maybe also get a feeling of your ego in a positive way, to step up. Like, okay, there's also a place for me in what I want in my life. And I feel like that's really important also in the shift to the era of the individual, that you also are able to be in contact with what your heart is longing for, because this is connected to the heart. And is your heart in things? So maybe you will feel more resistance in what you do because you are aware, become aware this upcoming week, like, oh, my heart is not in it. Or you can have a sense, oh, this is what I want. And maybe you can find the will to do so. So, yeah, and maybe also being careful in maybe being more sensitive to being controlled by others. Maybe also feeling more of controlling in your environment, in the world, what's going on, because we are having control, and is it used properly and in a healthy way in our society or not? So I feel like we are going to see and experience how control shows up for ourselves and also in the world around us. And yeah, and then you are able to really feel what you want. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Linda. And Debbie.
I chuckle at this. My son has trait 21 in values. So I really don't have any advice because I don't have trait 21 personally, but I'm giving this information to my son.
Love it. Thank you so much, Debbie. And how about for you, Shelley?
Well, I think this is a really great time in this next week to be able to reflect, like much what Linda was talking about, on what it is you really want in life and where you might be able to do things that will benefit not only you, but all of those around you in areas where people are asking you to come and be a part of it and help them manage something. May also be just a time to reflect on what is it you're actually able to control in your life around, especially your material resources, like where you're living, where you're working, what you're wearing, where you work for, how you make your living. All of those things are big questions for people right now as we go through this transition. So you might find some extra focus on this in this week to have you might notice yourself really pondering those things with extra clarity. Maybe it's a great week to pay attention to that, to see what's coming to you naturally. And also another thing to just kind of pay attention to how this is playing out in the world. We're seeing so many things on the world stage right now that I think we can even notice what's happening on a global basis with how this is going to play out. Looking at those 4 or 6 qualities for the next week, I think it'll be really interesting to just see how those are showing up in what's going on in the current crisis in Russia and the Ukraine. So it's amazing to have this information, to be able to see things through this lens.
Yeah, beautifully said, Shelley. Thank you so much. And Anna.
What I would suggest pondering is this idea of interference and resistance. Because as you spoke, several of you mentioned, this is about the material world and your well-being in general, and the tribal, the social, the collective well-being. And when I work with people, I like to use the word, what interference? People talk about being stuck or limited in some way, and that vocabulary sort of indicates that something else is going on, limiting you, rather than perceiving what energy is being interfered with. So when we're talking about control and balance and well-being, you can interfere with your own life force, with your own design. You can, by not knowing how to operate correctly, by not knowing your decision-making strategy, once you do know some of those things, you find the interference to your well-being starts to dissipate. The resistance, as an innovator, that's one of the signals that we get is resistance if we're not operating correctly. But everybody has the ability to manifest something in their life. And that comes with alignment. So what I would muse on is not so much what the interference is or where it's coming from, but just sort of this sense of observing, witnessing interference. It may be from opinions, your opinions or somebody else's opinions, but what is interfering with my well-being? Am I using my decision-making strategy? Because that will sort out this whole process of control, too much, not enough control, what kind of control. You don't need control in the old-fashioned way when you're actually using your decision-making strategy. The world, your design, the rest of the world, there's more flow. There's not that sense of interference. So I would ponder the idea, the concept, the experience of interference over this next week.
Yeah, beautifully said, Anna. Thank you so much. And just an amazing panel, amazing discussion today. Again, thank you, Vicki and Debbie, for joining us and being a part of our BG5 Live today. It's always great to hear from those of you. Usually we get the recordings up about within 24 hours. Usually I try to do it in about 12 hours. I need to put it all together and edit it, and we'll upload it both to our free resources as well as to YouTube as well. All right, everyone, have an amazing week. Again, taking a look and paying attention to where control shows up in your life, whether it's for yourself personally and creating that balance, whether it is out in the world, like Shelley was mentioning as well. Taking a look at where there may be interference with that control, and taking a look at the theme of control, and do you have control of the physical resources in your life or not? So it has been a great session. Again, thank you for each and every one of you who are here live and also watching via the recording. We so appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.